This one is trying to eliminate that, but there are still risks. In training, our injury risk is going to come from some overuse. We are going to be repeating a lot of motions to increase our endurance and our performance ability. There's going to be some heavy lifting and some heavy technical lifts. And so we're going to need to make sure we keep an eye on technique and make sure that technique is paramount and held to a very high standard. And then the other thing is just illness. We're going to go a 7-week period where we're going to be training some VO2 max, some anaerobic lactic tolerance, as well as some strengthening, all in one bit there. So it's quite a tall order. Inside of that program, there is a week inside of it that's periodized towards a slight reduction and then back up again. But it's, we are going to be really pushing the envelope and asking a lot of the client as far as, their nutrition and their recovery and their sleep patterns. Any of those were to go wrong, we would be in big trouble. General priorities of training. So we need to maintain a slightly improved VO2 max, and slightly improve the VO2 max. We need to improve the grip strength. We need to improve the leg strength and leg repetition. Those are basically what we're going to be evaluating our program on. We have reasons for these priorities. Again, case studies that have shown, runners and endurance athletes, the VO2 max on its own is not enough. We have case studies on people who will maintain a VO2 max, but because of certain ergonomic functions will increase blood flows to those areas. Grip strength is below average, so we need to make sure that we work on our grip strength. Ergonomically, it's important. And then again, leverage and biomechanics are necessary for the leg power. So our periodization is going to go 2 phases of work stimulus. There's a 1 7-week phase on general work and non-specific movement, but just trying to get that leg strength, trying to get that VO2 max up, and then trying to get that grip strength as well. Then there's a second phase where we get really specific into the task of CPAP, but in an increased fashion. And then we have a phase of taper where it's just 2 weeks of taper. I put why not block periodization because I did think about doing block periodization and breaking it into 2 or 3 different blocks. But I thought because there's no actual performance evaluation between these things and the training itself is going to be the performance evaluation, we would give the acute adaptation the best possible chance to occur by focusing a lot on each of those areas. I just put that a study also showed by Olive Bickelman et al. They researched the effects on how heavy strength training will not have a negative effect on your VO2 max and vice versa. They don't show a positive effect either, but it doesn't show a lot of contrary or contradictory effect, and so that's we would probably get a lot out of this non-block periodized training focus. And then again, I just prefer personally this level of periodization for this particular task. If it was a more sprint-based task, then we would look at a different periodization. So phase 1 goals, we want to make the 3-minute stair climb with a 75-pound additional vest, well below threshold. We want to keep that intensity as low as possible. We want to improve our squatting and our deadlifting and our lunging, so our basic leg movements that we're going to be using in that test. Through the use of free weights, so through deadlifting and through squatting and even just some of the squat thrusts, the grip strength alone will improve a lot by just handling heavy weights. We want to use rope climbing with several different thicknesses of rope. And so I just, we're going to do things like even a tug of war. So I'll just have a subject here, Zach, step up here. So we can use the camera, see okay here? And so you got to hold on tight and pull. Just work on grip strength, and then we'll even do pulling like that where, we just go with a partner against resistance. All right, thank you. We'll do a lot of sled pulling. We'll have people sitting on the ground and pulling sleds. Just a lot of strengthening stuff in phase 1. I have a sample workout here for what it looks like. Every sample workout is going to have a significant amount of coordination in the warm-up. Again, the coordination will always be addressed for the ergonomic needs in the warm-up. And then we get into something like a set where we go six sets of squats, followed by immediately, walking, holding some dumbbells or kettlebells with lunges. And there'll be stuff like, we'll do wrist curls both ways, and basically we have a 1 to 1.5 work to rest ratio a lot of the time. It's very, very superset, very continuous. Phase 2 goals is the specific ability to overperform in CPAC test results. So, there'll be faster cycle rates with the same 75-pound on the treadmill, or they'll be carrying heavier weights, supersets quite often between tasks. Instead of walking between tasks, we'll probably do skipping between tasks. Just very physiologically demanding, that is over and above the requirements of the CPAC test. Good for confidence and good for competence. Sample workout is just something like, you would go a sled pull and then you would skip for a few minutes. So, showing the similar movements that you'd be using for either the ladder lift or the hose drag, and then skipping, and then into a kettlebell walk with 40 pounds, or kettlebell lunges, just always being in a position of leverage. We would do things like crawling against resistance, and just, more challenging ways to hit that test. And then really backing off a little bit more on the aerobic maintenance, just kind of having that act as kind of a co-star inside of a workout. Goals for phase 3 is the taper phase. We want to recover from our first 2 phases. We want to feel the results of our training. We want to feel the heavier squatting. We want new 1RM max. We want more hypertrophy in the body. We want to see the things that we've been working on come together, but never accumulating fatigue. I have a sample workout here that just shows, like really high work to rest ratios that don't accumulate fatigue, but still maintain high levels of muscle tension. Always still staying on top of that movement and coordination. This here is basically the intensities of the 3 areas of grip strength, VO2 max, and leg power, as well as overhead press. We maintain that all the way through. There'll always be those opportunities inside of workouts. And so, like, really in the first 7 weeks, it's the leg strength is the top priority. And then the leg strength, you see it here in blue, goes to a lower priority until taper, where we like to see, some new RMs, and then really the grip strength becomes a paramount phase, and shoulder press, because those two really rely upon each other. This line represents kind of the intensity of the cardio work, so it really tails off on the end of this program and is easily maintained. So my final points are 16 weeks can make a difference. Okay? If the person is small, they have to be really determined. They've got to have the right attitude. I referenced articles that were based on my creative ideas. So I had creative ideas of what I thought could get in the way or what I thought could help, and I used critical thinking, and I used scholarly articles to back up a rationale. And then every time that there was a creative functional focus, there was always some critical thinking in behind it. And so there's 6 articles of reference, published scholarly peer-reviewed articles. So thank you very much for listening, and have a great evening.